Hi, this is David. In this video, I'm going to talk about a feature of the Azure Language Service called question answering. This is a feature that's not on by default. You have to add it, and we can configure it within Language Studio. And what the idea behind this service is that it will create a bot, a Q&A chat bot, based on a document with a bunch of questions and answers in it. So it frees you up from having to write any code if all you want is just to be able to allow users to ask questions in a natural language like English and have your bot respond to those questions automatically. This is the tool for you. To get started, we need to navigate to the Azure portal, log in, and select this create a resource. Well, the resource we're going to create is the language service. Now, we've done this in other videos. We've created the language service, so this should look familiar to you if you're following along. Here's the language service right here. But these are the default features of the language service. There's a couple of optional features here. They call them custom features. And I'm going to select the custom question answering feature right here before I click continue to create your resource. And then this dialog comes up, this blade. So I'm going to create a new resource group. I'll call it GCast QA RG for resource group. Okay. And then I'll give the resource, or rather the language feature service a name, QA Lang, GCast QA Lang. That's good. Pricing tier, I'll take the S pricing tier. I'll put it East US. That's fine. And because I selected the question answering, that feature actually requires an Azure search service. So it's asking me about the Azure search service. So where do I want it to be? And which tier do I want? So I'll take the standard tier and I'll put it in the East US region. And then right here, this one, I promise to adhere to the principles of responsible AI in doing this. And then I can click next, and I don't really need to change these things. It'll show you that there are options here. And then if it'll validate everything, and if I've filled everything out correctly, then when I click on create, it will create this language service. And also it will create an Azure AI search service. This will take a minute or two, so I'm going to pause the video and come back when it's done. Deployment of that service is complete. It took about 2 minutes. And I'll click on this. This will actually take me to the resource group. And you can see in here that it created this language service, and it also created a search service within this as well. And if I look on this language service here, it's called GCast QA Lang. That's what I named it here. To actually configure this, I want to go into the Language Studio, which I can see at language.azure.com. As you can see, that actually redirects me to language.cognitive.azure.com. And in here, I have it. If this is your first time to do this, it may prompt you right away to create a new custom question answering. But because I have multiple language services deployed, I want to make sure that I'm working with the right one. So I go up here to the settings button up in the top right. It looks like a little gear. And I want to go to the resources tab and select this language service that I just created, GCast QA Lang, and switch to that resource. Make sure everything is created in there. I'll close that out here. And now this button right here says create new. It has a drop down that says create custom question answering. I will select that, and then it asks me, I want to select the language when I create the project as resource. I want to set the language for all projects created in the resource. It doesn't really matter. I'm only going to create one project in here, but I'm going to set that language to English because that happens to be my native language. And I'll click next right here. It asked me for a name. I'll call this one GCast QA Lang project. How about that? Give it a description. For the next folks that come along, make sure they understand what you're doing. I've already told it's English and the default answer. So I'm going to give it some questions and answers. And if it finds the question within this list, it'll provide the appropriate answer. If it doesn't find it, then it'll default to whatever I type in here. The default is no answer found, but I'll say something like, I am sorry, I have no information about that. You can put whatever you want in here, just something appropriate for this. And then I will create the project. And this happened very quickly. It's already created right here. I just need to add one or more sources to it. And if I go in here, you can see the options are I can go point it to a document online somewhere, add a URL like this. I can point it to, I can do chit chat, in which I give it a tone and provide some question answers myself, or I can point to a document. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to add a file. I'm going to call this one movies. Click on choose file. And I have a document here called movies questions, which is open right now. So before I close it, let me just show it to you. You can see in here, it's got a bunch of questions. And these are all just questions and answers from famous movies. What is your name? I am Arthur, King of the Britain. What is your quest? I seek the Grail. Why so serious? Let's put a smile on that face. What is the Matrix? It's what do we do now? We fight. So some of you may actually recognize some of these quotes. Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you, etc. So I'll close this right here, and that's going to be my source, this document right here. And I could actually add more if I wanted to, but I won't. I just want to add this one. Let's cancel that and do it again. Add source, files, add file, movies, choose file, movie questions. There we go. Add all. And right here. So it's going to read through that, do a little bit of AI processing just so it can understand the questions that are in there. And I can open this up. And you can see right here, it parses it out. I put a blank line between each question and answer set. So you can see that if I scroll down, here's a question. What about that shadowy place that's beyond our borders? You must never go there, Simba. What is the most resilient parasite? An idea, things like that. So I can ask that, and I can even I can add more to this here. See this plus right here? I can add more questions to this. I want to add it to this movie questions doc here. And if I do, let's say, if I just say hello, then have the bot respond with hi. How can I help you? That's done right here. If I scroll down to that, I can also, within each one of these, I can add alternate questions. So if it says begin is another way of saying that, that should also respond with, hi, how can I help you? And I can do as much as I want here, you know, howdy, things like that. I can add follow-up prompts if I want to. But let's just test it here. There is a button right there that allows me to test this. Actually, let me hit save first. And I'll click on test right here. And you notice there's a checkbox that says include short answer response. By default, it'll just give one response. But if you want to alternate to allow both a short response and a long response, then you could do that. So when you deploy this, maybe you want to say, give it a short response with a button that says more details. And then if they click that, give the long response. That might be a good way to do that. So let's do this. We'll start off just by saying, hi. And the response is, hi, how can I help you? I get the same thing if I said, what was it, begin? I think, hi, how can I help you? Those all will. And then I'll ask questions like this. Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? But I won't ask it that way. I'll say, you look short instead, and see if it figured that out. And it did. I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you. And so this is the kind of things they can do. So very quickly, I was able to create a chatbot using no code and simply creating something that's that uses AI and reads through what'll probably be an FAQ document or whatever your list of questions and answers are, maybe multiple questions and answers right here. Let me close this, and when it's time to deploy it, I actually have a button on here for deploying it. And from here, I can click on deploy, confirm the deployment right here. And this will take a couple of minutes, so I will pause the video again. And we are back. It didn't take nearly 2 minutes. It took about 30 seconds. But now we've deployed this knowledge base and that Q&A service to Azure so we can call it from a chatbot. In this video, I've shown you how to use the question answering feature of the Azure Language Service. This is David. Thank you for watching.